Him and to be in His Word. Glad to have you all with us today. All of you that are in our seating down low, we're going to be sending you guys microphones and hope that you'll join us as we begin to study the Word of Yahweh, whoever is our Elohim. All right, let's take opportunity to read the Word. Yahweh, we come before you in the precious, mighty, matchless name of Yahshua HaMashiach. We exalt, extol, and magnify your name because there is literally none like you in all the earth. And we hold true to your faith and true to your purpose for our lives. Ask you to grace us with the wisdom that make us better and greater for you. In the precious name of Yeshua HaMashiach. There is, as we stated, none like you. Thank you. Thank you for being our hope and our peace. Thank you for being our joy and our grace. We magnify your name because of who you are. In the precious name of Yahshua HaMashiach, we all say, Amen. All right, Zion, we're going to get going. It's that time to get started. And moderators, would y'all tell us why we're here?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Thank you so much for joining us tonight in the Bible Book Club. We're so glad that you're here. If this is your first time in our room, please be sure that you hit the greenhouse above so you will be notified every time that we open the room. We want you to know that we have two other clubs. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is under the preceding word. Also, please join us as we honor Sabbath. So we'll be back here Friday nights under the Darash Kingdom Ministries room. Friday night at 11 p.m. we have our Sabbath Midrash studies. Also join us again Saturdays at 11 a.m. as we continue our study in the Torah. We are here every Sunday for our Sunday service in the morrow after Sabbath. And we also have a Wednesday night Bible study that meets at 7 p.m. All of this under the Darash Kingdom Ministries. Our rooms are recorded live, and you can find them at Facebook at BWJ Ministries. This room tonight is on replays. And so, Apostle, we're so grateful to be here. I pass it back over to you.
All right, and thank you very much. Do we have our abilities through the mods to read and have the notes that we have? No notes posted. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Can
sir.
we read those notes?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Shalom, everyone. We're so grateful that you're here in the Bible Book Club with us. Pretty soon the notes will be pinned for you, but here are your notes for June the 2nd, 2022. Our beginning scripture was Bereshit 12 and 1. Our ending scripture was Bereshit 12 and 3. Now here are a few of Apostles' key points. First, we want you to pay attention to the name and the spelling of Abram in Bereshit 12 and 1. The H and the A are missing because the promise is he will become a father to many nations. There is a prophecy and a promise on Abram's life to give him children and make his name great. That can be found in chapter 12, verse 2. And please note that Yahweh put a blessing on Abram's body. That is found in Genesis 12 and 3. Abram today is the patriarch and the iconic figure for Islam, Christendom, and Judaism. Please note that Yahweh does not have holy wars. Okay? When reading the Bible correctly, we take note that when it came to occupying the promise Yahweh gave to Abraham, they didn't have to fight. So meaning, when it came time for them to occupy that promise, they didn't have to fight for it. Another key point is we must be careful how we talk about other human beings because we don't know in many cases who is in the bloodline of Abraham. In verse 3, curse him that curseth thee, talking about Abram. Christendom curses Islam, calls them a terrorist. Christendom despises Judaism, and Judaism despises Christendom. We must be careful because Yahweh promised Abram, whoever curses you, I will curse them. Now, Apostle stated to us that no matter how upset you get with another ethnicity uh, who holds Abraham as their patriarch and iconic figure, watch what you say. And when it comes to cursing each other. Now, here are some facts that we must remember. Ishmael became 12 nations. Isaac had Esau and Jacob, but Esau is Edom, and Edom became 12 nations. Israel had 12 sons, and they became a nation in itself. In the marriage of Sarah and Abraham, Abraham truly does become the father of many nations. Abraham's second wife has 6 children, and Midian is one of the 6 children. That can be found in Bereshit 25 and 2. Midian is the land where Moshe becomes the prince and helps to rule for 40 years with his father-in-law, Jethro. And the queen of Sheba is Abraham's granddaughter. A teachable moment. It's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is in regards to Isaiah 58, 13, and 14. And the final teachable moment is this is the Bible Book Club, not Bible study. But the book is what we study. The culture of the times and the people are so significant to understanding how to converse rightly with anyone who professes Yeshua HaMashiach as Adonai. Apostle, back to you.
All righty, then. We need some readers. Who's going to be taking time to read for us today out of the book of Genesis, chapter number 12, verse number 1? Do we have anybody that will read?
Veronica.
All right, Veronica, good to be with you, beloved.
You want me to
Would
begin?
you read? I want you to begin in verse number 1. Bereshit, everybody, chapter and number 12, verse and number 1. Let's go through it for a catch up, and we can swing through it to get where we got to go. Bereshit 12, Genesis 12, 1. Let's go.
Now Yahweh had said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Continue.
So one of the things we want to make sure we pay attention to in this process is that we see, as we talked about in the notes, that you got to be careful who you talk to, who you talk about, because there is this issue where Yahweh has blessed. When did Avram? Can someone talk to me? Because this is a Bible book club. This is a Bible book club. Does anybody remember what you do in a Bible book club? Can someone tell me? Come off mic, say your name. Moderators, please make sure that everybody in the room gets a microphone option, and you can use your mic or not use your mic. If you want to speak, we'll gladly give you that time, 30 seconds at your first insert, and then say your name first and 30 seconds to get your point, your question, your thought out, and we'll just go from there. But please, this is a Bible book club. Let's talk about what we are reading, understand the intention of the author and the historicity, the whole 9 yards. So who remembers whether Abraham was blessed, at what time was he blessed with this blessing? No? Does anybody remember that? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I don't know what's going on there. All right, so when was Abraham blessed, given his blessing?
See Mystique before he had any children.
All right, see Mystique, say it slower.
Before he had any children.
So Abraham was blessed. He was given what Veronica just read before he had children. So as the notes indicated earlier, that Avram, not Avraham, Avram was blessed and told would bless them that blessed him and curse them that cursed him. And this was before he had any children. Most people don't realize or understand that he actually had children after the blessing. He didn't just have 2 children. Who can tell me how many children Abraham had? Say your name and come off mute. All right, so Abraham's had 6 children. Is that right?
No, he had more than 6.
I think he had 8.
Somebody, all right, say your name, y'all. Say your name. There's rules. Y'all know the rules. We gave y'all the rules. Say your name. Come off mic. Say your name so we can call you. So who's going to talk about it? Someone's talking. Who was that? All right, Seamus, go ahead.
He had 2 by his first wife, Sarai, and well, he had 2, one by Sarai directly, one by her maidservant, Hagar, who was Ishmael and Isaac. And then he had 4 by his second wife, Keturah.
All right,
6 by his second wife, excuse me.
He had 4 by his second wife?
6.
He had 6. So how many children Abraham have, everybody?
8.
Okay, he had 8 children. Thank you, Seamus. I appreciate your help. All right, another question for the platform. Since we're talking about the Bible, we really need to get understanding. What, in fact, is the impact of Abraham having 8 children?
See, Mystique?
All right, well, I guess it's just me and you, see, Mystique. Let's go. I want everybody to know that if you're in the platform, we're here for Bible Book Club. We're not here for preaching. So we want y'all to work with us. We want to study and talk together. So feel free to come off mic and make your suggestions and or your read. All right, see, Mystique, what was the impact of Abraham having 8 children and connecting that to that blessing you just heard about?
He had 8 that he gave birth to 8 different nations, because each one of his children has a nation in and of themselves. Through Isaac, who had 2 children, each one of them had 12 kids. Through the handmaiden, they had 12 children. Hagar, her son, had 12 kids. And then through his second wife, each one of those became a nation in and of themselves.
All right, so you owe me 1, 2, 3 curry goat platters. I expect them before Father's Day.
I said kids? When did I say kids?
Y'all, did she say kids, y'all?
Yes.
I think you didn't realize I said it.
Because he owes me 5 curry goat platters too. But go ahead.
Sir,
Who owe you
she
5?
did not mention children.
Sir, you're on mute.
I am aware. Thank you. So, the issue with that is that he had so many children, and all of them had so many children. One of them had nation. So they had so many children that there is nothing that you could do. There's nothing you can just say that Abraham only had 2 children, or he only had 1 child. He actually had 8 children. Each of those children had nations, plural, birthed out of them. And in Isaac was given twins, Esau and Jacob. And Jacob gave 12 tribes that make a nation called Israel. And Esau had 12 children and multiple, and all of them became nations separately. Ishmael had 12 sons. All of his sons became nations separately. So between Ishmael and Esau, you have 24 nations. Out of Israel, you have one nation that makes 25. And then you count the 6 sons that he and Keturah had. And I think it is there's 6 sons there, and each of them become multiple nations. Midian becomes a nation. You know, there's just a lot. Jokshan, all of those nations come out of Abraham, and they are enemies in some instances and advocates in some cases for and of Israel. And so we have all these nations. Why is this a significant matter? While we're talking about this, still another. Because most people don't realize or understand that, in fact, there is a blessing on Abraham that lingers on a whole bunch of people that you and I are hating on, mad with, neighbors to, we don't like, nations to which we have war with. And so the point of this was to make sure you are conscious who you curse, because you don't know who is and who not is, who is and who isn't of Abraham's seed. I'm wanting this to make sense. I hope that this makes sense. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to dig into that a little bit? Take some time with that? Why is that important?
See, Mystique, because
see, go ahead.
as we are seeing the various wars around the world, as we are seeing the various internal arguments within the United States, we're cursing people, or we're cursing nations, or we're cursing nationalities. But because of the pledge that was made to Abraham before his children was born, that says, "I will curse those that curse you, I will bless those that bless you." If we just go based on nationalities, or we go based on culture, and we start cursing people, we're actually bringing curses to ourselves unknowingly because of the promise that's made to Abraham. And Apostle. Okay, did my system go out?
No, we can hear
I
you.
have no
Apostle is
idea.
on mute right now.
Was someone trying to say something? I thought I heard a voice.
I said Apostle is on mute right now. We were asking if C was asking if her system went out, and I said, no, we can hear you. We're just waiting to hear Apostle.
So while we're waiting for Apostle, I think one of the things, because he was bringing this up in the earlier session as well, we have to be careful of the people that we're around. We can't, the old phrase, judge a book by the cover, we can't so readily do and just classify everybody as whoever, whatever. With us not being sure who our neighbor is or who the strangers that we're talking to, and just because a certain sect of a nationality does something, we can't damn that whole culture or that whole nationality or that whole nation of being, because so many nations, as we can tell by the different families that Abraham's children had, or that came from Abraham's children, we can actually be cursing those that believe in Father Abraham. which means that curse will be bringing curses upon ourselves. Would anybody like to expand on that? Pastor Spencer, Elder Cheryl, Dr.
Well,
Stewart?
the point that
Oh,
the
look at
point
that.
thank you. The point that's drawn there is pretty much that we don't know who it is, and I say this slow, and I want to work this piece out very slowly, because we don't know what we don't know, and I want that to become a cultural movement. We don't know what we don't know because we never read what Yahweh wanted us to know. I made that a meme and we put that meme out there, and I'm hoping you guys will grab that meme and share that on your pages, on your IG pages, on your Facebook pages, on your spiritual pages. We don't know. It's a meme on my page, BWJ Ministries on IG. And I really want y'all to take that. I want y'all to take it and run with it. We don't know what we don't know because we don't and never read what Yahweh wanted us to know. And that's a big issue. Now, as simple as it may seem to some, and as non-dramatic and not impacting as it may appear to others, if you don't know who it is you're cursing, you don't know what you're doing to yourself. So when we talk about this, and I want to hear you guys. I want y'all to come off, Michael. Let's talk about that because this is huge. Many of y'all did not know. Where's Veronica? Veronica, take me to 23, please. Chapter 23.
Okay. Start at verse
Take
1.
me to chapter 23. Start at verse 1. Now, these are the children of Keturah, right?
It says, and Sarah was 120 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarai, and Sarah died in Kerjurabah. The same.
Yeah, Kerajabratha, right. So go to
Kerajabratha.
24, my bad. 24. Go to 24. Sorry. 24.
And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said in
Sorry.
That's not it either, huh?
25. I'm tripping. 25. Go to 25. Why is this important? Why she finds 25? Why is this important? Because we don't have any clue. We don't know what we don't know because we have been told not to read the Torah. We've been told not to read the Old Testament. And you don't even know who your neighbor is, and you're fussing with them, fighting with them, at war with them, cursing them, but you're careful not to curse Jesus. You're careful not to curse anybody else, but you're cursing Islam for whatever the extremist issues that we have with some of those sects within Islam, because all Islamic people are not mean. They do have their culture. They do have their faith. We do not agree with what they do, what they believe, and they have their own viewpoint of what Abraham's God was. But at the end of the day, who is their father? But at the end of the day, we're careful. Sometimes we're not even careful to say something negative or curse them. But there are other people on this planet that because we're Christians, we just take it for granted that we can say and do whatever we want because we're God's children. Yahweh makes promises. His promises are yea and amen. They are the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not change. So let's read now what we did not know, we needed to know. Verse 1 of Yaksheet 25. And I know we went over this again last week. We're going to do it again because it's important. For the redundancy is important for us to understand, because even though I tell it to you the first time, we really don't get it. We really don't get it the first time. And then we think we got it because we heard it. But though we heard it, we didn't really hear it. We listened to it. And then we don't understand how it impacts our lives. I will say this with no reservation. Many of us have cursed our lives and didn't even realize it. Here's why. 25. Now we're going to go back to 12, but 25, verse number. Would you start there for me, Miss Veronica, please?
Sure. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shuah. And Jokshan begat Sheba, and Dedan, And the sons of Dedan were Asherim and Letushim and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher and Hanok,
Hanak,
Hanok,
Abida,
Abida and
Abida.
Eldah.
Elda,
All these.
and all of these were the children of Keturah.
Mhm.
Now, how many of y'all know who these people are? How many of y'all know what nations these people are?
We don't.
And we've been telling folk off and cussing folk out and cursing them and all this, and we have no idea what we've literally put ourselves in position for.
Roundtree, I have a question.
Roundtree, your question, go.
Okay, two questions. The first one, with Abram, I always thought that because Isaac was the son of promise, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Speak louder. Because Isaac was the son of promise, he got the blessing. But when Yahweh,
You jumped too far. Yeah, you jumped too far. You can't. Go ahead. Finish your question.
But when Yahweh first made the promise to Abraham that all of his nations, all of his seed would be blessed, would be a nation, how is that different than Isaac being the son of promise? Because we're saying that everything that came out of Abraham was blessed, but yet only Isaac received.
Redo your question. You're all over with your question. Give me your question again, please. That's too much to try and process. Bring the question bring it to a solid question.
Yes, sir. Yahweh blessed Abram before he had any children. Yet we say that Isaac only is the son of promise. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. Where is the conflict? What are you running into?
I was just saying, we are saying all these nations are blessed, but only Isaac is the son of promise. So he gets a special blessing?
Correct.
Okay.
But now what's the blessing though? Take a moment, look at that. What's the blessing? Read it. Go to Genesis 12 and read it. 12, 1 through 3.
One moment, sir.
This is where we start doing too much. This is where I want to make sure we start reading it for ourselves and looking at it and putting it in proper context.
Actually, I can't read it. I'll get feedback.
All right. Somebody help out. I
have
prefer it
it.
not be Veronica.
Okay.
But if you do have it, go ahead, Veronica.
Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great. And thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
All right, Roundtree. So what's the blessing on him before he has children? What's the verbiage of it?
That all would be blessed, that he would bless those that bless him and curse those that curse him.
Does it matter at this point whether there's one of promise or not?
No, it doesn't.
Good question. Thanks for adding value, making us think, because we have to. It doesn't matter what we think. Doesn't matter where we are with that. At the end of the day, he tells us who he's going to bless. He knows he gave us promise. Yahweh made a promise to him long ago. You're going to be father of many nations, of many nations, of many nations. But he promised him a son himself out of his own blood, which was he and Sarai. So him doing it his own way and having his own children through Sarai's concoction, trying to help him meet the goal. You know, I can't really blame her. She did what she felt was necessary to bring them into a position where they could be, where they could make an effort to do what was needed to bring the vision to pass. Yahweh didn't need them to do that, but that's what they did. So to answer your question, to be very specific about your point, he doesn't need to be helped along with this process. And that child, Yitzhak, is in fact the child of promise. Every other child, he's going to be the father of many nations, but there was one child specifically that he promised to do something through. And that child is Yitzhak. That was a child he promised through Sariah. Now, once Sariah dies, that changes the context of a lot of things. Once Sariah dies, he has a right to remarry. And he does. And he goes full throttle at it.
That goes to
And
my
he has other children. Well, you didn't say you had two questions, so hurry up. What's your second question?
second question is, when we are reading in Genesis 25, it says Keturah had all these children. Is that implying that one of the sons was the father of the children and not actually Abraham?
No. When you're dealing with the genealogies and lineages that Yahweh gives us in this process of Torah, of the Torah, you're dealing with what we call, they're giving you the history. Every son that is mentioned, grandson or otherwise, is important. Okay, let me give you an example why you got to be careful when we start thinking and doing too much. All right, when okay, everybody, I'm gonna make this a teaching moment for everybody. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a teaching moment for everybody. I want everybody to pay attention to this because we all do it. Now watch. What's your question again, Roundtree?
When you're reading genealogies in chapter 25, there's a time it looks like it says one of the sons had all the children, and it says these are the children of Keturah. And it looks like one of the sons fathered the children and not Abraham fathering the children.
And so when we go back to Genesis chapter number, let's go to Genesis. We just read this already. Let's go to Genesis chapter 7. Teaching moment. Matter of fact, maybe it's 8. Matter of fact, maybe it's 9. Okay. In Genesis Bereshit 9, you have the lineage of Noah. Go to Genesis Bereshit 9, and let's go to verse 17. Here's what it says. And Elohim said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have made between you and me and all flesh upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth out of the ark were Shem, Ham, Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. Okay? Now, why is this important? Well, don't you think that Shem, so we know that Noah had 3 sons, right? What are the 3 sons of Noah, Roundtree?
They are Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Thank you. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. Now, why didn't Yahweh mention Shem's sons and Japheth's sons? Why is that Canaan is mentioned here? Well, here's the reason why. Yahweh only mentions the people of the lineage that are impacting the message and the plan of him. That's what he does. So whenever you see other names come up, you will jump through generations and you'll jump through people. It has nothing to do with that being Keturah's had a child by one of her sons. Mind you, it could have happened, but that's not the case here. When you hear the storylines, when you go back to Genesis chapter 25, Bereshit 25, like you just read in Noah 9, the issue is he's telling you who is of importance and what significance they all have in our lives. Again, if you listened on last week, who else is mentioned in here when we talk about these children? So verse 1 of Bereshit 25, Abraham took a wife, Keturah. Verse 2, Sheber, Zimran, Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak, Shua. Then it tells you who Jokshan begot. Jokshan begot Sheba and Dedan. Quite frankly, Jokshan begat other sons and daughters as well. The sons of Dedan, watch this, this is a grandson of Keturah. Now we mention these people of Dedan, Ashurim, Lethuman, and Leumim, pardon me. Why? Because all of these were nations that would affect and impact the storyline and narrative of Israel coming through the wilderness and living in what we know as a record of the Tanakh. Many of the nations changed names. That's a whole nother study, and we'll get to that when we get into more of the Tanakh rather than the Torah as we are in right now. And that comes back to the moment and the point we're making here today. We're cursing people, and we do not know they are connected to Abraham, and many people are blessing and are cursing themselves and not even realizing it. Does that make sense, Zion?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yes, sir.
And that's what, and that.
Yeah.
Apostle, you're on mute again.
Thought it was just me.
I don't know what this clubhouse is doing to me right now. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can.
Yes, we can hear you now.
We lost you after
What?
you said, does that
All
make
right.
sense, Zion?
All right, does that, all right, at what point does that make sense? So does that make sense to you guys that, you know, you don't know who you're cursing out here in these streets? You get upset with, you go off and you cuss them out, you curse them out or whatever that may be. But at the end of the day, we have to be very conscious that all things that we're doing are right. You don't know who these nations and these people are. I mean, really, literally, you don't know who has this blessing on them. That's why we have to study to be quiet. Let Yahweh discern, and Elohim, through the word of Elohim, Adonai, discern for you. That's why the word of Elohim is sharp and quicker. It is a discerner of the hearts and the intents of men. We do not take time often enough to consider that the blessing of Yahweh is on people we may not think it's on. And then we go off on people that we shouldn't be going off on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
does. Wanda?
So, and I need y'all to be quicker to y'all mute buttons than y'all are right now, because what we have to understand is that there are so many things inside of Elohim's word that have left us with precedents, but we've been told not to read the Old Testament because all we got to worry about is what Jesus did. No disrespect, but what Yeshua did. And we are supposed to pay attention to how he lived, mark how he walked, mark them that walk upright before you, and Messiah is the epitome, the ultimate of that. However, even Messiah didn't go up people to Now you say, well, Pastor, we don't be cursing people either. Yes, you do. Every time you say, God damn that person, that's what you're doing. God damn that person. You say, God damn you. You think you're saying, God damn it, but you're saying, God damn the person, God damn the issue, and you're asking God to damn something. That is a curse. Y'all thought I cussed at y'all? Y'all okay?
Yeah, all right.
You okay, sir?
You're cool.
I'm not asking y'all permission. I'm just asking if y'all all right. I didn't ask if I was okay. I asked if y'all was okay.
Yeah, all right.
That's the kind of stuff that get on my nerves. Again, I didn't ask you if I was all right. I know I'm fine. Question is, are you? You know what I mean? So
I'm good.
at the end of the day, we don't realize what we do. Now, people say, well, Apostle, that's not necessary to talk about. Yes, it is. If you knew, watch this, if you knew that, we wouldn't gossip as much as we do, because gossiping is a way of literally cursing your brother or your sister. You're demeaning that person's character. To demean a person's character is equivalent to cursing them. And because you've heard stories been told on the internet of people overseas you don't know, you pass that story on because it came on your reel, or you pass that story on because it came on your Facebook channel. You don't know who you are demeaning the character of. You can say all day long, well, they put themselves out there. Shoot. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's talking about them. But don't your butt just talk about anybody if you don't know who they are. You don't know which one of these nations that we're reading about are another nation labeled today. And their bloodline comes and connected to Abraham. You can tell me all day long, Apostle, you're wrong. I will show you every day of the week. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you don't know. And the reason we don't know what we don't know is because we will not read what Elohim wants us to know. And that is his word. His truth determines, discerns, explains, and sets forth what the precedents are. And when you learn the precedents by reading his writ, you understand what you should and should not do. And like I say, and I mean this from my heart, many of us have cursed ourselves and did not even know it by how we dealt with other people, because we don't know that they are of Abraham. Okay, I'm going to go to a congregation. I'm going to pay some people to come in and clap at these moments. I'm going to get me a clap box machine so I don't have to worry about y'all clapping at big revelations.
My class.
So that's good. You have a key now, sir.
We don't clap when you teach them real good.
All right, Minister Wanda, I think was next, right?
Yes, sir.
Shalom.
So wait, let I think to clear this piece up. On Roundtree's question, again, why were those, if she could have had a child by one of the sons, and that would be no. Any person mentioned in the writ, there are so many people. Yahweh's only letting us know who is relevant to his narrative. So if somebody's mentioned in the Bible, they are friggin' huge. The problem is, we've been told not to read the Old Testament. Just worry about David. Just worry about Moses. Just worry about Abraham. Just worry about Isaac. Just worry about the prophets, those who got books. But there are more people in this book that if you would know who they are, how they are connected. Many people thought that Jesus just was some purebred, all of this, had no idea that Ruth and Boaz was this man's grandparents, and that a harlot out of Jericho was his grandma.
Yes.
Nobody knows that Rahab is his grandma.
Right.
We don't
Wow.
know what we don't know. And this is why when we do Bible Book Club, we don't just want to run through this and say we read the Bible through. How about we understand the Bible through? How about we do that? All right. So we got a cue. Minister Wanda, I think you were next. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to get that clear about when a person's name is mentioned in the Bible, that's just not some ancillary mention. That mention is huge. That person was huge in that day. That region was huge in that day. That region still exists today and still has impact today on our actual existence, even right now. Again, this man, before you go, Minister Wanda, Veronica, reading 25. Give me verse 3. Talk to me about his child. I think it's Jokshan.
Yes.
So I believe it's Jokshan, right?
Yes.
That should be, who did Jokshan bear? Who did Jokshan bear?
He begot Sheba.
So if Yahweh doesn't mention this, now, you guys think that the Queen of Sheba is just some ancillary country. Why is that important? Because it's thousands of years later that you read about Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Because Sheba becomes a country. Now here's the problem. What's Sheba's name today? Come on, y'all. And I know y'all know better. Y'all supposed to be.
Ethiopia.
What is Sheba's name today?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Are they still existing right now?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Were they significant back then? Yes, they were. Is this a part of Abraham's blood? Yes, it is. Is it a nation? Yes, it is. Today? Yes, it is. Has its name changed? Yes, it did. Are they still existing? Yes, they do. Do they right now, are they in the runnings for the conversations of hiding the Ark of Yahweh, the Ark of the Covenant, in their nation somewhere because they had a relationship with Yahweh based on the fact that the Queen of Sheba went and sat with Solomon to talk about real questions of who Yahweh was? Because Yahweh was a part of her world, and they made him one of their gods, and she wanted to know the hard facts about Yahweh and why Solomon was solely and exclusively given over to Yahweh. So much so that they became and are to this day so a name mentioned in the Bible, a name left in the Bible is huge. A certain woman mentioned. Did somebody just tell me to be quiet?
No, you went into the Matrix, sir.
Oh, I went to the Matrix? Okay.
Yes.
So when a name is mentioned, I'll repeat it. When a name is mentioned in the Bible, it is huge. A certain woman. When you see phrase a certain woman or a certain man, that's a huge indication you are now a part of history. The woman, the grain of the size of a mustard seed, or I should say, the woman who had greater faith than anybody else in Israel, her daughter wanting her daughter to be healed. That woman, that daughter, yes, that woman's name goes down in history. The woman at the well goes down in history. There are there are millions of Samaritans. There are millions in Judea. But these specific people, because of their interactions with the narrative, go down in history. So when you see a name mentioned, it's a big thing. Now, to the question that Roundtree asked, no, she didn't have children with her children. It's possible, but that person mentioned there wasn't from her having a relationship with her son. She had relationship with Avram and had these children. Did she have children from other men? I don't know, and I don't care. Because at the age she's at right now, he met with Keturah. We don't know who she was with prior to that. We don't know. That ain't my business. But what we do know, we have right here in front of us. All right, Minister Wanda, I'm not going to cut you off this time. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about how important it is to understand this, because I honestly thought that there was only 2 children until we read it. And understanding that there are 8 total and the nations that come from that, and us being careful of who we put our mouth on. You mentioned last week that there are many nations that came from Abraham. You talked about Russia and China and Czechoslovakia and Northern America and things like that. And so just understanding that we don't know how far or how many nations Abraham touched. And we have to be careful. And that really stuck with me because I didn't realize he got married again.
Let me jump in here with you. How many of y'all know who the primary population ethnicity is in the Ukraine? What's the main ethnicity in Ukraine? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Jewish.
I don't know.
They're Jews. Ukrainians are Jewish. The president is Jewish. Poland. What's the main ethnicity in Poland? Anybody know? Jews. What was the main ethnicity in Germany? Jews. Y'all think that Russia's not connected to this as well? Go back and one day we'll do the research. I don't want to put this out because then I'll never get off the subject because I just opened a whole can of worms and I'm willing to handle it, but it takes too long to break it down before everybody gets confused. But y'all be careful because Russia, China, Spain, you got Yemenites, you got Mennonites, you got Romanians, Jews. These are Torah observant, in some cases, people. Abraham affected and is affected just with the 3 sons of just with the 2 sons, Yitzhak and Yaakov. Yitzhak and Ishmael. The sons that Yitzhak had, the sons that Ishmael had, and the nation of Israel itself. That's 26 nations, 25 nations, right there. Now you want to add Sheba. Now you want to add Dedan. Now you want to add. So when you see there in 25, read that for me, Veronica. When you see that in 25, verse go to 3, and read from Jokshan.
And Jokshan begot Sheba. And
Stop.
Dedan.
Sheba's a nation. Sheba's a nation. What's the next one? And Dedan is a nation. Read on.
And the sons of Dedan were Asherim and Letushim and
Ashurim was a nation. Leumim was a nation. Its name changed. We'll talk about that another day. All of these places he's mentioning are nations, proving Yahweh promised to make Avram, listen, the father of many nations. He did that. Our problem is we just think he's the father of Israel. We just tell anybody and everybody off. Be careful who you put your mouth on. You don't know. That's my message to all of Christendom. I learned it some years back, and I promise you, I believe it's helped me out a whole lot. Be careful what you want to tell. Be careful how you gossip. Watch, we talk about putting your mouth on the man of God or whatever. It ain't just the man of God. Yahweh put that promise on Abraham before his sons were born, and that is whether or not they believe in Yahweh or not. That's a scary thought when you put that in context.
Yes, sir.
They don't even have to be saved. They are under a covenant with Abraham. And you just talk about people, spreading rumors on people. You don't even know the people, grabbing something off of TikTok and spreading it, and an embarrassing situation, going world star and just running it and spreading all over social media. That stuff travels faster than light, and all of a sudden, now you have talked about Elohim's elect You have talked about Abraham's seed. You have defamed their character. You don't even know them. Am I making sense to anybody, or this just oh, he just being biblically deep?
You good.
Absolutely.
You
And
making
that's
a
what
lot of
does.
sense.
That's what stuff
Makes
with
a lot of sense.
Minister Wine, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I want to make sure we understood that. Go ahead.
No, you're good. That was just my point, that we have no idea who we've been putting our mouths on that could be connected to Abraham's bloodline, because it's so worldwide spread. When you said that last week, it blew my mind. So that was the point that I wanted to bring.
Yahweh be praised. And it's funny because we'll hear it, but it don't really register. You know what I mean? Because we were talking also earlier today about Mr. Wine, I think it might have been you. You care to share your experience when you found out
About the heritage of Jacob?
about the blessing, about the heritage of Jacob?
Yeah. The fact
I think the class need to hear that. Go ahead, talk about that.
just the
And
fact
take your
that
time and do it. Don't rush it.
Okay. The fact that we read that every Sabbath, Isaiah 58,
What we read?
13 and 14.
Veronica,
That
help us out. Minister Wanda need a reader. Go to Isaiah 58, 13. No, matter of fact, start at verse 14. Never stop reading this to y'all for this very testimony right here. Veronica, did you get it, Minister?
Yes, sir. Where you want me to start at 13 or 14?
Start at 13, quick.
13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh Sabaoth has spoken.
So what did Yahweh say he'll feed you with?
The heritage of Jacob.
Minister Wanda, pick it up.
So we were talking about the fact that Jacob had to give Esau the majority of his wealth, everything he had. But he was okay with that because of the blessing that was on his life, that he could start from nothing, no matter how many times he had to start from nothing, that he would still be blessed.
So let me help them understand why you sitting there breathing heavy. Jacob, because I need you to tell the storyline. We don't understand what blessing Yahweh put on Jacob. And every week we read this to you. If you keep my Shabbat, if you don't do your own thing, speak my words only, I will cause you to ride up on the high places, and I'll feed you with the heritage of Jacob. We don't know what the heritage of Jacob is. But watch. When Isaac got the blessing from Abraham, he passed that to Jacob. Jacob got the blessing. Esau wanted to kill his brother because he felt like he deserved it, though he sold it twice, right? The next thing is Jacob goes running from Esau up to his mom's brother's place called Laban, which is where Jacob marries and finds and marries Rachel. And Leah is a package deal, and both of their maidservants. So he now got 4 wives. But here's the catch. Jacob goes to Laban with no wealth, just the blessing of the dew of heaven on his life, the heritage of Jacob on his life. He gets there. Laban has a good, nice running business. But Jacob falls in love with Rachel and her work ethic. And he says, I need her because what I got on me requires a very good manager and a very good helpmeet. He asks Laban for her hand, says, I don't have anything you can see right now tangible, but I'll work for you for 7 years, and I assure you it'll be more than you have right now. So he makes a deal. He works for Laban for 7 years. Laban's business exponentially takes off. Exponentially takes off. Unheard of, unprecedented quality and quantity. Laban is so freaked out and so greedy. He like, man, let's keep this joke around for another 7 years. So he suckers him into marrying Leah, and then he got to work another 7 years for Leah, because everything that Jacob made Laban belongs to Laban. Jacob only got room and board and a promise to marry his daughter. He got suckered into it. He marries Raquel. He marries Leah. 14 years of service, and all the beautiful work that Jacob gave him, he served Laban like he was serving Elohim. He gave him the best of his anointing, of the heritage that's on his life from the blessing of the dew of heaven, that's on his life. So Jacob starts with nothing, makes millions, right? Then yes, I said that. Then he is at 14 years ready to leave, but he gets suckered to stay another 6 years because Laban knows that Jacob now has sons and four wives, that he can't leave with nothing. He owns nothing. Nothing. He owns nothing but the wives and his children. And Laban suckers him into staying again and says, look, I'll help you grow your wealth. You keep the ring start, the spotted, and the speckled cattle and all that is there, and I'll let you have that. And then once you build up a proper stockpile, you can take my grandchildren and my daughters who happen to be your wives, and then you can leave. But until you can support them, bro, you can't do that. That's the custom. So when Laban does this, Jacob stays, and he does, in fact, take the deal. Laban's nasty trifling behind goes and takes the little bit of spotted, speckled, and ring-starched cattle and hides them 3 days' journey away from Jacob. So they make a deal one night, and Jacob wake up the next morning, and the little bit of flock, he's the shepherd, he knows what's there. The little bit of flock he knew and expected to be there was gone. No explanation, nobody knows, it just vanished. Now we know, because we got the story, that Laban took his servants and had them gather up all the ring stark and spotted and speckled while they were sleeping and drove them 3 days' journey away so Jacob would never find them. So guess what Jacob got to do? Start all over again. Yahweh gives him the blessing, shows him how to make it with the almond reeds, puts it inside of the troughs where they would come and drink and mate at the same time. They would actually produce what they saw. But when you pull the bark back on almond rods, you pull the bark back on certain tree limbs, it looks ring stark, it looks spotted. So when you got speckles in your eyes, you're going to produce speckles as you're out of your womb. And these are the things that took place and happened. Now, everybody got to know, everybody got to remember, everybody got to understand that this is what actually took place. Jacob started over from nothing, and in 6 years, his wealth exceeded the wealth of Laban, but yet Laban never lost a dime. Now, Jacob is leaving Laban. Didn't want to shoot him, didn't want to kill him, didn't want to hurt him. And says, listen, may the Lord watch between me and you while we absent one from another, right? And so the next thing that happens is this. Laban's scenario turns interestingly different. Very, very interestingly different. Laban sets himself up to rob from Jacob. Jacob leaves Laban with everything he had, all of his wealth. Takes what he's got. He starts over. He then goes into the fields and starts to move back towards home, where he come from. But he's got to go through his brother, who the last thing he heard wanted to kill him. And he tells his family, with his wealth, all of his wealth he just earned from Laban, he takes his sheep, his oxen, and he divides them in thirds. tells the children, all right, y'all go this way, and if y'all see somebody come, offer them the flock. Just give it to them. Okay, just give it to them. I ain't worried about it. Just give it to them. The wives are like, what are you talking about? We had to work to get this from our dad, and you went through all this to get this, and you had to get it. So he gave it up to him, right? Then he said, and to the other part of the family, if you see men and they come at you, give them the flock. Just give it to them. Tell them it's a gift from Jacob. He does it. Now, once he does this, he has no more wealth. And then he sees his brother. Finds out his brother doesn't want to kill him, really want to repent to him. But here's what happened, y'all. Jacob gave everything he owned to that point, to Laban, to this next point, to his brother, and then he starts up for his family later. The man could just make stuff happen because of the blessing Yahweh put on his life. You guys have that very same blessing when you keep the Torah. That's what keeping Shabbat is all about. That blessing, that dew from heaven falls on you every single solitary time. Do y'all get that?
Yahweh be praised.
Always.
That's what you're supposed to be doing. So, Minister Wanda, tell them why you started crying.
Because for the first time, I really understood that. For the first time, I got that's on my life because Yahweh has spoken it. So when I'm down to nothing, I can never be down to nothing. Even if I am, that I still will be blessed because I'm compliant, because I keep the feast, because I keep Sabbath. Even if I'm down to nothing, I can bounce back because he said I could, because I have the heritage of Jacob on my life. And even now, it's making me, was standing at the bowl shaking and crying because I just got it. We read that every week, you guys, every single week. And I don't know if you're getting it like I'm getting it, but man, that is something else. That is powerful. And the end of that says, because Yahweh Sabaoth has spoken it. It ain't no taking back unless I don't comply. That's it, Apostle.
Thank you. And that's the thing. When he says, I will put you and I will set you up on high and I will feed you with the heritage of Jacob. What that means is I will put a blessing on you that no matter how you get suckered out of what you got or you give away what you got, you will always make over again while you're alive. I'm a living witness. I have had major and lost major, and I have rebuilt every time, but I know it's only because I have been compliant with his instructions and I honor what his word says in Torah. And the average Christian is hoping for a pipe dream to manifest for them, hoping for some weird windfall to hit them. And Yahweh is telling you, no, it's in you. When you comply with me, I cause it to come out of you. I feed you with the same blessing, the same empowerment I put on Jacob. Wherever they went, they were wealthy. It don't matter what the circumstances are. I need 8 of y'all to come off and say, Yahweh, I receive that.
Yahweh, I receive that. I receive that.
All right. Well, we'll have to pick this up next week. It's 8:15. We went over our time. We'll be back tomorrow for the preceding word. I'm hoping and praying that you guys have been blessed and edified by the reading today. Thank you for all your help, all of you who have been doing this. Wait, did we get all the questions answered?
Yes, sir.
I have one.
All right, what's your question?
Oh, yes, thank you. So I'm trying to get to where you are for an understanding. The quote is, we don't know what we don't know. This is my question, and I'm being sincere. Why do you say we don't know what we don't know as opposed to we don't know what we should know? Why do you say it like that?
Because there is nothing in science that science made. Science and humanity only discovers what already exists. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know how the pyramids got made.
We don't know what Timbuktu was teaching. We don't even know how Noah really made the ark. We don't know what we don't know. All because we don't read what Yahweh needs us to know.
Woo!
Amen.
All right. Okay, everybody. I got to catch a plane in the morning, so I got to get some sleep. I pray that everybody is enjoying themselves. I love y'all, man. I love y'all enough to tell y'all the truth, and sometimes I just want to give everything I got to y'all, but everything I can't give y'all at one time. The thing that I want y'all to catch from what Minister Wanda says, we read that passage every single solitary week. And just today, she realized, oh my goodness, that means I can have that on my life as well. All of you can. All of you do when you comply with Yahweh. Y'all go back to read Isaiah 58, 13 through 14, and don't go to bed without reading it tonight. And I promise you, Yahweh's going to speak to you in your dreams tonight. I promise you that. Yahweh, we thank you for your word, your will, and your plan. We ask you to bless these, your people, in the mighty and precious name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Give them the grace to understand all things you have spoken. We thank you now by your precious spirit in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Now may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. This we pray in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all say, Amen. All right, everybody, this room will end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom. 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 Shalom.